that's right. I'm sad and blue, 'cause I can do the boogaloo. I'm lost, can't do my thing. That's why I sing. Gimme, bang,
That's right, friends. It's the improved Pop-Up Uke 3.0, and our new lessons and sessions, lessons and lessons and seconds. Hey, that's a good idea, Jim. Well, thanks. It's Gemini time, as you know, and so I can answer my own questions. And it's good to. It's almost like a reunion here. It's almost like it is a reunion. Look at all these folks we haven't seen for a long time. There's Ron. Welcome back, Ron. Mike, Shirley, Duff. Nice to see all of you and sticking with me. Just a little update about. Hello, Gigi, and welcome to Pop Up Uke. A new member, and we'll have a bunch of new members coming up in the next few months because we have revamped Pop Up Uke from an hour-long session 4 times a month to this new format, which is, well, I had the idea. It came to me in an AI dream. I thought to myself, Jim, you get around. Why don't you create an AI virtual pop-up truck? Didn't cost me anything. And so that'll be traveling around the country. I'm currently on tour, a 2-month cross-country tour, sponsored by Ukulele Magazine, of which I'm a contributing editor. And I'm on the Central Oregon coast tonight. And the whole new Pop-Up Uke theme is you can join Pop-Up Uke on my Patreon site for free, absolutely free. And you can join any of these Pop-Up Uke lessons, which are going to be very short lessons, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most. And it'll pop up anywhere. You'll never know where it's going to pop up, but usually you'll get an email the day before of when that Pop-Up Uke lesson is going to happen. But the good news is, for a mere $3 a month, we have lowered our prices here at Pop-Up Uke. We've slashed it. It's like clearance time here. $3 a month, and you have access to the last 2.5 years of Pop-Up Uke content, which includes all our celebrity interviews with people like James Hill. Last few weeks ago, we had James Hill and his Ragalele debut here at Pop-Up Uke. So we have a lot of exciting things that happen here at Pop-Up Uke. And these little short Pop-Up Uke lessons will be recorded. So if you're a paying member, $3 a month, you have access to watch these lessons over again. Okay, well, it's nice to see you all. So let's get right to it. Here's the goal. I've been thinking about this a lot the last few months in my private teaching. And if we give little spoonfuls of information right from the start, we'll be able to run our way all the way up and use the entire fingerboard because you paid for the whole thing. We might as well use it. Okay? So, what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to talk about the 3 major shapes. There are only 3 major shapes. That's amazing. Oh, there's so many chords, but there's basically 3 major shapes on the ukulele. And we're going to talk about those tonight, and we're going to give you a practice that you can practice until the next Pop-Up Uke. But I would suspect if you stick with this through the summer on my tour, uh, you will know this neck like nobody's business. But the first thing we want to talk about is just muscle memory, because we're going to be playing different chords, some chords you may have not played before. So I want to remind you of the most important exercise that there is, and that's the finger tapping exercise to strengthen all 4 fingers of the left hand. So in first position, that's a finger for every fret. Go ahead and do that. Put a finger on every fret, first 4 frets on the first string. And we want to do things in time too. So we want to have, time in our mind when we do any of our exercises. So let me show you this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to tap 4 times on each finger. and keeping every finger down on the fingerboard except the one that we're tapping with. So I would count it off. I would go 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Control that finger. I move to the next finger then. Oh, I made a mistake. I have to start over. Back to the index. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the little 1, 2, 3, 4. Control them all. Then move up to the next string, the second string, and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the little 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fingerboard gym right here. And you know, if you go to the gym, your muscles do get stronger and you can control them more. So every day, take your fingerboard vitamin here and go to the gym and do your tapping exercise up to the top string and then back down. All right, you're going to do that? Everybody's nodding yes. Jim will do that because we know that if we improve the strength of the left hand, we'll be able to play these chords better and move to them more quickly. So let's look at the 3 major shapes. We start in the open position, which is where we have some open strings, and then we go to the closed positions. So shape number 1, and I used to call these by chord names, but now I just call them by shape names. It's much easier to remember because they always go in order. Shape 1, that's followed by shape 2, and then by shape 3. So here's shape 1. Hold a C chord. Okay, there's a C chord, and we call that 0, 0, 0, 3, right? C major. It's got 3 notes in it, C, E, and G, and then another C. So major chords only have 3 notes, usually repeat of the 1, the C, 2 C's here. Okay, but what we're really holding here, friends, is we're really holding 1 closed string and 3 opens. So really, if you look at it, it's like the little finger's there, and the index finger is a bar covering the other 3 strings. Everybody understand that concept? Because if we move up to C sharp, we do have to cover all the other strings with the index finger. So this is shape 1. In the open position, it looks like this. In the closed position at C sharp, it looks like that. Okay? The next shape that always follows shape 1 is this closed shape. Some people call it the B flat shape, but I call it shape number 2. And if shape 2 always follows shape 1, if I'm in C and I know I'm going to the next shape, shape 2, why don't I use my index finger for this C chord? Then all I have to do is bar the first 2 strings, put down the middle finger and the ring, and I have shape 2. Okay, so there's our first 2 major shapes, and they're both C majors. So you could practice this just 2 chords at a time. You could play a song, a 1 chord song like Lime in the Coconut, and just go between those 2 shapes to see the different sounds. So you could go 1, 2, and you notice how I'm strumming on the 2 and the 4. Now I'm not going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And you notice I'm also strumming above the hole so I have something to strike against with the nail. So I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3. So just get that in your head. Now, a lot of times people are stuck in this position, but if you've got that little finger, that middle index finger down, you can immediately go to shape 2, which is, and everything is closed. Because, and when I say closed, I mean fretted. And because we're closing everything, if I strum it, it continues to ring. But if I lightly lift off of it, it stops. And this is great for that backup chunk of 1 and hear how I'm stopping. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to first shape. Hear the difference in sound. Second shape. There's the first exercise. So you can immediately, you're not afraid to go to shape 2. Now shape 2 is always followed by shape 3. Boy, this is logical, isn't it? If we can count to 3, we've got this one down. So shape 3 is up here, and I'm barring at the 1, 2, 3, 5, the 7th fret, and then I'm putting an F shape in front of it. And what do I mean by that? I mean that these two fingers back in open position form an F chord. If you hold an F chord and you move it up 1 fret, there's F sharp. Next is G, G sharp, A sharp, B flat, all right, which is A sharp, and then B, and then C is up here. And because we're in C, the G string, that note is in a G chord. So we can actually, we don't have to bar it way up there. We can just play this shape, which looks like the G major down here, up here. So that's what these two look like, is barred really with an F shape in front of it. And that's what I'm going to call shape 3, is a bar with an F shape in front of it, but up at the 7th fret, it's a C chord. So now I can go through all 3 major shapes. Let's do it 4 beats at a time. So we'll go 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Back to shape 2. Shape 1. And the great thing about these closed shapes is you can do this. You can slide into the chord, you can go, or you can hit it above 1 fret, and you can make different sounds that way too. Okay, so there are your 3 major shapes. Now I'm going to show you the chart of the 3 major shapes, because there's one other thing that you need to know when learning these different shapes, is you need to know what note of the chord you're holding when you're holding each shape. So let's look at this chart. Okay, you see that the top row going left to right are the 3 shapes in the open position, okay? And you'll notice that I put the numbers of each one of the notes of the chord. So in shape 1, upper left on the top, you're holding the 5th note of the C chord, then the 1, then the 3, and then there's the 1 again. Why do we want to know this? Because if we want to solo and play melodies, we got to know where the notes, the important notes of the chord are. In shape 2, you'll see that the 1 now, let's go down to the second, the lower one, and we're going to play the 3 inversions of the major shapes so you can see how they move up and the notes of the chord change as we go up. So shape 1, we've got the 5, the 1, the 3, and the 1. When we go to shape 2, we've got the 1, 3, 5, 1, and shape 3, we've got the 3, 5, 1, 3. So these are just called different voicings. You're holding the same notes, but they're in a different order, and that's why they sound different. So let's stop here, since we're already 10 minutes or so into it, and open up the floor to questions about this, because that's as far as we're going, because we don't want to take up too much information. We want to have little bits to practice. That's why it's called Uke Lessons in Seconds. Just want to take a few seconds, learn a few things that you can practice for a few days, get them in your mind, and then we'll move on to other shapes like dominant 7 shapes, minor shapes, and diminished shapes. And once you've got all those, which there's only, let's see, 3 majors, 3 minors, that's 6, 4 dominant 7, That's 11. There's only 12 shapes that we're going to have to get through here in the short period of time. So let's go ahead and open up the floor to any questions that we have about this, and then we'll finish by opening it up to anybody that has any questions about anything about the new pop-up uke format or anything. Anyone?
This is great. I mean, bite-sized stuff is great. Although, I'm gonna miss our longer sessions, but this is great.
Well, here's another thing we're going to do. And for those of you that are new, that's Penny down in Los Angeles. She's been with Pop-Up Uke for years now. Uh, there will be special things that I'm going to offer. It depends on where I am and my internet connections, things like that. But we will have special uh, Zoom sessions where it will last longer, where we'll maybe break apart a tune that takes a little bit longer to go through. Or maybe I'm thinking about trying to do that once a month. So we will have that also. And with those longer sessions too, we get to know each other because most of us here have known each other for a while. And Robin, as I was saying, you just joined us from Canada. Uh, these 5-10 minute sessions are being recorded, and if you're a $3 member of Pop-Up Uke, you can go through to all access and rewatch the lesson if you miss it. And these lessons will be random. Like I could do another one on Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll give you a 24-hour notice usually about when they're going to pop up. And we'll do different times too. So those of us on the West Coast, I'm on the West Coast right now, but later in the summer, I'm going to be back on the East Coast. So we will mix it up a little bit too. So good comment there, Penny. Anybody else want to chime in or even make suggestions of things that they'd like to learn in these short pop-up ukes? Yeah, Gigi, go ahead.
I was gonna say I really enjoyed that. That was fabulous. Learned a lot in a couple of minutes, and it would be great to learn how to solo on top of those around those chords.
Well, we do.
Yeah, little by little. Thank you.
Now, what? Just because you're new here, Gigi, I'm going to fill you in on just a couple of. Leave yourself unmuted for a minute. I'll introduce you to some of the other folks here. Where are you located, Gigi?
I'm in New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Well,
Mhm.
welcome. We've got Stephen up there. He's in Sacramento, California. Penny's in LA. Jonathan's in Columbus, Ohio. Nancy's up in Michigan. Indiana Mike, I don't know what state he's in, but I think the name might give it away. Laurel is somewhere in the hinterlands of New Hampshire, Vermont. I always get those states confused. Shirley's up in British Columbia. Gretchen's in Minnesota. Robin's in BC. Duff's down in Arizona. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And really, part of the fun of Pop-Up is getting to know everybody, too, because we've become a real a tribe here at Pop-Up Uke. And we get to know each other and have a lot of fun, and oftentimes run into each other at ukulele festivals all over the country, too. So welcome. And how did you find out about us, Gigi? Was it through Facebook or?
No, I think it was through a YouTube, a video that you did with what's her name? The girl with the long red hair.
Oh yeah, Gracie
Yeah.
Bearson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's great. She
Mhm.
comes on often too. We have little celebrity sessions, and they share their wisdom too. Well, I'm glad you like that, because what we like to do here, we want the main goal of Pop-Up Uke is to get people off the paper and playing by ear and hearing the emotional value of chord progression. That's our mission here, and it includes everything from soloing in the blues, or uh,
Mhm.
learning important progressions, and it really does start with learning these shapes. So the three major shapes, and if you want to drop me an email, I can send you that chart of the three major shapes. But I also will put it up on the Patreon page in the free area. So if you want to go look at it there also. But I like to look at, I'm a visual learner as well as an oral learner. So I like to look at charts just while I'm practicing, just so I get it in my head that, okay, that top string, that's the one now, that's the three. Because when we want a solo, there, the three is a good place to start for the blues and things like that. So in closing, for this lesson, before I ask for a few more comments, practice your finger tapping exercise up and down the strings every day. I don't every day. There's no excuses. And then the three major shapes going up and back. And find a tune that only has one chord, and like a song like "Get Up, Stand Up" by Bob Marley only has one chord. It's like it's a reggae beat on the offbeat, But up, but up, but up, but up, but up. You get the rhythm. You're strumming the rhythm of downstrokes and ups instead of memorizing strumming patterns. That's one of the things we do here. Yes, Nancy.
Hey. Do you ever go back up to the first shape after the third one? Like 1, 2, 3, 1. Or you just run out of neck?
You run out of neck.
Okay. So you really just focus on the
run out of neck. That's why. Well, it depends on where you start too. If I start in B flat, I'm starting with shape 2. And then I would go up for that for shape 3 and then shape 1. But yeah, usually you can only grab 2 of them especially on a concert like I've got here today. But it really lends itself to playing in different keys. That's the great thing, because if I know this C is really that shape 1 C sharp, I can now play in C sharp or D, and then go up just using the same 3 shapes in order.
And
Hey, Jim.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Jim,
Yeah.
I wanted to also say, I think $3 is not enough. I think it should be more than that.
Yeah, I agree, Jim. I mean, you're really, I would have been fine continuing to pay whatever we were paying. I do think you should charge.
Yeah, but here, yeah, I have a friend who's a very very knowledgeable social media person. I mean, he's world renowned in it, and he told me about the funnel method. And if my funnel was sort of started, I had my funnel inverted, and so people wouldn't come for that price. So when you open the top of the funnel for free, then people go in, and if they like what you're doing, then they go through the paywall. And really, I'm not here to make $1 million. And the more people that we can influence, and I think for that, it's fine for now. It's fine for this experiment. It's an experiment, Penny. So, and really, make the extra check out to Jim. Anybody else have any comments before we wrap up today's first new? Yeah.
This is Ron. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I'm thinking on the tapping. Yeah, I'm thinking on the tapping, I'm going to call out the note name that I'm tapping. Kind of get that in my memory too. Do you think that's a good idea? Can you hear me? I'm on a phone.
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you great.
Can you hear me, Ron?
Yep.
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay.
One thing that I'm against is you'll see diagrams of the ukulele neck, and people will put each note on each string and each fret. I'm against that because that's like, what? I'm just going to grab some random note somewhere. No, I'm more holding the shape and knowing what you're holding. That is much more important than knowing, okay, I'm up here. But the third string, because it's the lowest string on our instrument, usually, unless you've got a low G, of course, but usually that's the railway to understanding what shape you're holding, because there's C. Well, if that's C sharp, if I do shape 1, that's C sharp major. And if I do the second one, D. So knowing the notes of the third string is important, just because then it gives you an idea where shape 1 is.
Right. Okay.
I think that answers that question.
Yep, makes sense.
Anybody else have anything to add today? Well, if not,
Jim,
be sure.
Jim. We need to sing happy birthday to John. We need to sing happy birthday to John.
John, is it your birthday today?
It is. I'm a fellow Gemini.
Oh, that's right, fellow Gem. Mine's a week from today. So okay, let's just take off our mutes. Everybody demute, and we can't use the instruments because there's a delay. But I think we can work out. Let's do it in this key though. Here we go. We're in the key of C. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Dear John.
Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
On the banks of the Ohio.
That wasn't that was a sort of improvisational harmonies there that we were doing. So, but I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this new direction because we are going to get a lot more people to show up, and we're going to make a lot more friends. So, thank you everybody for hanging with me on this experiment, and you know we'll reassess it at the end of the summer when I'm back, maybe in a more stable environment or maybe an unstable environment. We'll see. But look for
you are moving
later
to
in the week
Michigan
another pop up, and we'll. I'm ending up there in 2 months, but I'm having some thoughts now that I'm having some thoughts about some other ideas. So you know me, Mr. Capricious, and Mercury is probably in retrograde right now, but I'm thinking that I'm having so much fun in the first 2 workshops after being sequestered in Sacramento for 8 months and just teaching in a small box. I don't know. I think my worth is more out on the road, teaching groups of people and seeing the countries. So who knows? Maybe I'll revisit my Airstream without a trailer and do something else. Maybe in a van.
But you remember a winter in the Midwest, right?
Oh, that's why I said maybe I'll have a van. So, but I'm really excited. I'm going to get to see you, Mike, for the first time in person up in Indiana, and I'm going to be in Chicago and up see Shirley up in Penticton and a lot of you folks. So I look forward to seeing you, and I'll check in later in the week with another pop-in session. Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody. Here we go. 3, 4. Happy birthday, Jonathan. There you go. Special birthday wave to Jonathan. 3, 4. There we go. All right, kids. We'll see you later.
See y'all.